up, everyone? Welcome into the Token and the Truth. It is a lovely Tuesday. Happy to see you guys. I am Drea Renee, and this is
Man, Freddie B. We are back once again. Guys, thank y'all for joining us, man. If you are not part of the YouTube crew, get with it right
Freddie's
now.
on the YouTube. Freddie's always pressing the YouTube, but it seems to be working. So we do appreciate you. We love you, and we're happy that you are watching and listening and sharing and doing all the things. Make sure you hit like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you comment. Let us know what you think of this episode. We love hearing from you guys, right, Freddie? Yes.
You know, I love we love it. We love it. We love it. We got a great topic today, though. This topic here today is, it's been blowing up in the zeitgeist. It's Drea's favorite homegirl.
My favorite homegirl. Why you just go jump and say she's my favorite homegirl? What is that?
Because she's been securing the bag left and right.
So that means she's my favorite homegirl because she was with Shaquille O'Neal, secured a bag, and then did her own thing. What? Why is she my favorite homegirl? I don't know Shaunie like that.
You know everybody. You don't know her?
I don't. I do know Shaq a little bit, but I don't know her.
There you go. So as y'all can see, our topic today, Shaunie O'Neal. So she just dropped a memoir. So like I sent this to Drea. You saw it, Drea. And Drea, let's hop into it. You're out in LA.
Yeah.
You're around a lot of different women who live that particular lifestyle. Memoirs can be kind of juicy.
Yeah.
And so in this instance, like she dropped this bombshell about, hey, I don't know if I ever loved Shaq.
Now, look, before we jump into this, you guys, I think that we need to understand what this woman went through, what the nature of their relationship was, and why they ended up getting a divorce. I think if we understand that and the current relationship that she's in. So that's what I want to address first, because if you think about, are we going to pull up anything, Freddie? Or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I think we definitely can.
Pull something up. So in terms of her current relationship that she's in, I was listening to a couple videos today, and I think, there were some good points made about if you are in a relationship now and you say, you were really in love with that person or whatever, maybe your partner will feel some type of way. I don't know. But you could also currently be in love with the person that you're with in a very different way that could make you think about what you thought was love that you realize now maybe wasn't love. I also heard, that maybe their relationship was transactional and maybe, nobody was in love with anybody because everybody was cheating. Not everybody, but he was cheating. And I think that we don't give enough credit to what that feels like for a woman, and to say, oh, women are always divorcing men. But there are a lot of things that go on in relationships that we know nothing about. And everyone's supposed to just endure. You're just supposed to endure and be unhappy and be cheated on. Yes, your life is set up a certain way. She obviously got a ton of alimony, which we'll get into that as well, that she rejected. However, I feel like if you are being cheated on, look, to be fair, and this is not to give any sort of leeway to Shaq and his infidelity, but I do think that you dating and marrying someone of that stature in the NBA, if I married somebody in the NBA, I would just expect to be cheated on. I just would. I don't even care if they told me they wouldn't. I would just expect to be cheated on. And if I married that man, I essentially, for me, Drea, would be saying, okay, I'm probably going to get cheated on, and this is what it is. And that's how I feel about that, especially living in this city for as long as I have. And, understanding that people with a certain amount of money, they have access to, I guess we're doing an Amazon Temu special here as well.
This page is
it ain't paging today. It's not paging, but I do
right.
think there's something that
Timu takes stuff over.
Timu has taken over. Timu, come on over and give us a sponsorship. We love that. But I still haven't ordered anything from Timu. Maybe I'll have to give it a go. But anyway, so I feel like, in terms of Shaunie, we don't know the details of why she did what she did, other than he cheated. And Shaq already responded and said, I wouldn't have loved me either. He took the high road. And the thing about Shaq is he's such a great personality. But what I will say, as someone who has been on certain groups on the inside and understands that people have their personalities in the public eye, because Shaq is very well known. He's very well liked, all these things. But there are two sides to these things. And there's probably a whole other personality of Shaq's that we know nothing about, that Shaunie knows, that his kids know. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I like Shaq. I think he's great. But we don't know what goes on in someone's marriage. And so maybe this could have been worded better. Maybe I realized I wasn't in love with him like I thought I was. Something like that. But to say I wasn't in love with him, some people are coming out and saying, oh, well, why would you go have a child, have children, create a family? And that's when the whole idea of it being transactional comes into play, because maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe it was transactional for them both because he cheated on her pretty regularly. So, I think as usual, we have to give her a little grace. And he already admitted that he cheated. It was already out. So it's not like she said anything that was crazy. She just basically went into some deeper details of their relationship.
Yeah, man.
Uh-oh.
This is tough, man. This is really tough because you guys see it up. Shaunie Henderson speaks out after going viral. Was saying she doesn't know if she was ever really in love with Shaq. And
the wording of this, she doesn't know. She didn't say that she hardcore wasn't.
I think even the guessing part, because the thing is she's saying that she feels like she was taken out of context from her memoir. This is you wrote it. This is from everything. How does somebody take you out of context for something you totally created? It wasn't
fair point. That's a fair point.
It's not like Drea sat down with Shaunie Henderson, interviewed her, she said some stuff, and then your team edited up and then just gave us bite clips, sound bites. It's all her stuff. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think this says a lot about her. And I think you touched on it, the transactional part, that. And I think a lot of people in her situation, they don't know and we can't recognize and don't know what love is. A lot of people think it's the warm and fuzzies, like, oh, I feel good. And I think with her, the warm and fuzzies factor into feeling good about the lifestyle. Like her probably being in love with the lifestyle that was provided. You know what I mean? Like she's with Shaq, she living this life, and she's loving the life that she's living.
She mentioned that.
Right. And I think that's the thing. And then she misconstrued that with being in love. And then now maybe she's with Pastor Keion. And then now she's understanding the duty behind, the duty in having to work, because she's with a man of God. And now he's probably preaching her and showing her, in the Bible, biblically speaking, what love is. John, he probably showing us John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son to the world. Love is duty. Nobody would do anything for you, you're not gonna love them. And that's including your mother, your sister, your brother, whoever. We love people based off what the perceived value of what they will do for us. And so I think that she might be learning that now, and she looking back And that speaks about where she was at the time. Because the thing is like what you said. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like Shaq is being gracious as a personality because his money is based on his goodwill, being Shaq, the lovable giant. Which the thing is, Shaq is a dope dude. Like I remember back when I was in college, I was at a preseason game. The Heat played the Hawks in Nashville, and I went to the game, and I was there doing like I knew the marketing manager. Shout out to Miss Regester, Elizabeth Regester. She looked out for the young college student, and she got me media passes. Where I was in there with ESPN, ABC, all your outlets. I'm right there, this college kid from Tennessee State, in the locker rooms, courtside, all of that. I was the only person to interview Shaq that night because Shaq was injured, and he told all the people who were doing interviews, "I'm not doing interviews." I saw him. I was like, "Yo, Shaq, can I get an interview?" He was like, "1 second." Well, came back. He was like, oh, "Okay, let's go. Let's do the interview." And I got the interview. I was the only person to get an interview with Shaq. So that's the type of guy Shaq is. Shaq is a super dope dude. I think, like to what you said, like that public persona, which we're both hosts. We know how that public persona go, and I think that him taking a high road, that's something he had to do. He couldn't throw a shot at Shaunie, and plus everybody else throwing shots at Shaunie, so he don't need to. You know what I mean? And then plus he can't really because he was cheating on her as well. That was the whole beef with
what
him
is
and
he gonna
Kobe.
say?
Right. He can't really say nothing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like he just take the high road. Like, he just say some stuff like, "I wouldn't love me either," which what he's speaking to is a little bit different than what she's speaking to, because she
Why
said
do you think
he
it's
wasn't,
different?
because he said if I was her, I wouldn't love me either. She said, you see right here, this quote, she don't know if she was ever really in love with him. So she was speaking about in love. He's speaking about just like love. It's like a concept like me and you. I'd be like, "Yo, I love Darren. Like I love Drea. I love Drea. And I love Andrea. I love this person." People be like, that's my brother. I love him. That's my sister. I love her. Like people,
You think
just
that's
say
what
they
Shaq is referencing?
I think, like I said, I think Shaq is just taking a high road. He just responding to it. That's it. He just speaking to it. He not really digging into it, because one, he has nothing to gain by digging into it, and two, he don't have to dig into it because all the fans are digging into it. So he's just saying like, "Oh, I would have loved me," than just taking the super high road and just showing her love and being gracious, so he can, because he's the lovable giant. That's what Shaq is known as.
I
He
know,
does
but
all
he
these.
is referencing what she's specifically saying, that she wasn't ever in love with him.
She
And
said she wasn't ever really in love. He
I know,
said,
but I
if I
don't
was
think
her,
that's what he's referencing. She wasn't in love. I wouldn't have loved me either. Like
right.
that's
He said, "I wouldn't have loved me either." He didn't say, "I wouldn't have been in love with me either." He didn't say that.
I
He
don't
said, "I
think
wouldn't have
Shaq is
loved me."
that deep, Freddie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, of course. Come on. We talking about Shaq. We talking about, like, you got it. Like, the thing is like, would you agree that there's a difference between being in love and loving somebody?
Absolutely, but I don't think that the way he said that, we may have to agree to disagree on this. I just think he's referencing her saying she was not in love with him. I don't think him not adding the word in, like on a semantic level, is something different. I don't think he's talking about love or being in love. I don't think that. I think he's just literally referencing what she's saying, which is she doesn't know that she was ever really in love. And I agree, maybe this is just coming from her now new experience with this pastor, because I'm sure she's living a completely different lifestyle, having a completely different level of communication with her husband. It's based in a totally different spiritual place. I'm not saying that they weren't spiritual, but I'm imagining, as him being a pastor, this is coming from a very different place. So she could be looking at her life and being like, you know what? This is what real love feels like. What I had, what I thought was love, what I thought this idea of marriage was, the lifestyle, all the things, that wasn't really love. And I was being cheated on. Now I'm experiencing pure, one-on-one, we're connected, that kind of love, versus my husband going out in the streets and doing all the things. And I'm not blaming Shaq. I'm not saying he was, all the way terrible. But when you're in a situation like that, you can't ever really feel connected to your partner if they're cheating on you.
I mean, like I said, I think the cheating part is because, one, the thing is like, it's not like that's something she found out. There's a whole relationship before she knew. So like, cheating part, I wouldn't say the cheating part affects whether somebody's in love with somebody or not. It's a lot of people who are in love with somebody and they're being cheated on, or whatever the case may be. But the thing is when you're in love with somebody and when you love somebody, those are two mutually exclusive things. Those two totally different things. And so the thing is with with Shaq, because the thing is Shaq, I don't like Shaq is he knows he can say like I wouldn't have loved me either, and people will say what you said like oh he addressed it or whatever, move on. But I think when you really dig into it, Shaq is not, because I wouldn't do it. I don't think anybody would like oh yeah if I was her I wouldn't be in love with me either, because that goes deeper, that cuts deeper to say for you to say out your own mouth like if I was her I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Because when you in love with somebody, that's some deep stuff. That means you're intertwined. Your life and your soul is intertwined with that person, and it's like a matter of life and death between you and that person. Like you'll die for that person. But as speaking to comparing it to I love this person, like oh I just love this person. And like those are two different things. So I don't like because like me, I get where Shaq come from. I probably would do the same thing if I was in Shaq's shoes. Like oh yeah, I wouldn't have loved me either. Said it that. Took it the high road. Everybody think that I'm speaking to what she's saying, and everybody fly past it because they take it as just semantics when that is something that's definitely different. Because like semantics is when you saying the same thing but two different ways. Like if I'm saying like, oh, she fat, and you say, oh, nah, she big. We saying the same thing. That's semantics. They
That's
both mean
what
the
I
same
think.
thing.
I think they're saying the same thing, Freddie. I think you
Those aren't the same thing. In love and love are the same thing.
Freddie, I know, but
You know
I
it's not
think
Drea.
he's saying
Drea.
the same thing. No, Freddie, I know what you're saying. Freddie, I know what you're saying. Don't give me that look. I know what you're saying. You, Freddie Moultrie, you. Yes, but you're saying, but I'm saying these two people that have nothing to do with us, that's not what they're saying. I get what you're saying in love and loving someone. Of course, those are two different things. But I do not think that Shaq's quote that he put out was as deep as you're making it in reference to in love or loving me. I really don't think that. Like I completely
you don't think Shaq's smart enough to know the difference? Is what you're saying?
I'm not saying he's not smart enough to know the difference, Freddie. I just think that he's literally just referencing the quote that she wasn't in love with him, and that's it.
So if you were Shaq, would you do that? Like, would you say
I honestly
like, oh,
would only just reference what she said. I wouldn't even think about it that deeply, because to me, in a marriage, they're only referencing if they were in love with each other. Now, do I think Shaunie loves Shaq as a person? I'm sure she does. He's the father of her children. I mean, I don't know what type of relationship they have, but I'm sure she loves him. She doesn't not love him as a human being. They spent a nice portion of their lives together, right? And I'm sure he put her through some stuff, and maybe vice versa. But to say that Shaq is only referencing like an umbrella love that you give to like say, oh, I love Drea so much. I don't think so. But we can agree to disagree on that.
Which we always do, because you just refuse.
No, Freddie, I give it to you. I hear you on the two things. I feel the difference, but for this particular thing, that's going to be a no for me.
But right here, we see this quote that Shaunie said, my book is my truth. And when I was talking to my friend yesterday, I was like, developing an opinion and a comment from content with no context will show you a lot of people's intelligence and unintelligence, right? She said there was no context to just that one quote that I said. And I think that sadly, people are taking my words out of context.
I think what she means here is that was just the one quote, and maybe they're not referencing the sentences around it. Maybe there's like the more of a story. Maybe it's just one sentence out of the book. So when she's saying there's no context, especially if you haven't read her book and you just read. So, and to be fair, if you have not read this book and you don't understand the entirety of what she's saying and you just pull one sentence, things can get taken out of context. Absolutely.
So this quote's kind of, she's right here. She's referencing everything I was just saying. When you love somebody, you love somebody. But to be in love with somebody is a different feeling. And I will be honest, I didn't realize that until I found the love of my life right now. And I'm in this marriage. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a different feeling. She said, people don't read, you know what I mean? Love, not in love. They just pick the words they want. Again, context is everything. And so like that's why I think Shaq was strategic in what he said, because I'm pretty sure he saw this quote, because he responded to what she's saying. He saw this quote about being loved and in love. So this is more so the reason why I say Shaq was strategic in what he's saying, and what he said works perfectly.
But I don't get the value of this. Like, I don't understand if he is saying I wouldn't have loved me either. What is the point of in love and love? Like, because
I mean, it's something totally different if he said, like what he said was, if I was her, I wouldn't have loved me either. That's something different than that's different. What I'm saying is juxtaposing these two things. Him saying that, and then if he had actually referenced exactly what she said and said, if I was her, I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Like
I
him saying
understand.
that is different than him saying like I wouldn't have loved me either, as opposed to I wouldn't have been in love with me either.
Right. I get that. But what is the importance of him not using the word in love? Like, I don't understand.
Because when you say that, then it's like, damn, like you're saying out your own mouth, like it makes sense the way she shouldn't have been in love with you. Like, what the hell? Like, that makes him look even worse. Like, she should, like, you wouldn't have been in love with you either. That makes it look even worse because now we're talking about a spiritual soul connection to where, like, you're saying it makes sense that she shouldn't have connected with you. She shouldn't have been spiritually intertwined with you.
Okay.
So it's just like for example, like with your mom, like you like really truly love your mom, but there are some times that you didn't love your mom, like you was angry at her or even your sister or whatever. There have been times where like I don't love my mom right now.
I would never say I don't love my mom. I always love my mom. I always love my sister. My sister makes it
But
challenging sometimes, but I do love her.
right, but what I'm saying is some people use that. A lot of people use that term, like, especially if you don't know the meaning of the words. Like if you use it flippantly, people use those words. Like, yeah, I don't love this person right now. People say that all the time. Like a bunch of married couples, like, right now, I don't love my husband right now because he
I
did.
always
Da, da,
hear
da,
I
da.
don't like you right now. I don't really hear I don't love you right now. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. I've only
No,
heard I don't
I've,
like you right now. I love you, but I don't really like you.
I've heard that, and I've also heard people like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm definitely in love with my husband, but I don't love him right now. Like because like whether it being facetious or serious, maybe he made her mad, really mad in this moment, and she's saying it from a standpoint like I'll get over it, but right in this moment, I'm not loving him right now. You know what I mean? And so
Okay.
I've heard that. I've heard what you said before. I've heard both in that sense. And the thing is when people say they love somebody, like it's used so interchangeably, so freely now. Like, oh, I love my brother. Like that's my brother. I love him. Like people say they love people so flippantly, so freely now. But but if you say I'm in love with somebody, people are careful with that. People careful with the in love part. People are very careful with that, especially when we talk about relationships. And so that's why I say
Oh
like
no,
Shaq.
I for sure I've experienced that of someone specifically saying they loved me, but they were not in love with me. Like I get that for sure. But I just
And
felt like
that's
he
what I
was
think Shaq
referencing,
was going with his
yeah.
reply. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. So I think that's where he was going, like being careful with those two words because they can mean a lot. But also with this is definitely interesting. I definitely want to ask you this because you're a big baller shot caller, which
Uh,
we know. Um, so apparently, I want to find it to really substantiate it, but I heard now this is speculation. I don't have anything substantiated. I'm gonna look for it, but I wanted to throw this your way. Apparently she was getting $50K a month
oh
for
yeah.
alimony, and
Right.
then she loses it because then now she's married to another man.
Yeah.
Like you getting 50K a month, Dre. You getting 50K, 50,000 a month. We talking about that's 600,000 a year. That's the top 0.1% of American earners per year. You getting top 1% of American earners per year. How hard would that be to give up?
I'm not saying it would be easy to give up, especially when you take your feelings out of situations and you look at things from a complete financial perspective. However, I will live and die and always be a romantic. And if I meet the love of my life and I want to make that utmost top notch commitment, I'm going to give up the 50K. And also, I'm freaking Shaunie. I have my own money coming in. I don't, if the 50K was really something that was putting a dent in her life that was making that big of a difference, I don't know if she would have done it. But clearly, she's able to give up the alimony and live on with her life and be happy with her husband. Now, again, I don't think that was probably an easy decision, or maybe it was. Maybe she was like, I'm good. Like, I mean, Basketball Wives did extremely well. That's an insane franchise. I think Shaunie is okay. So, and she's seemingly very much in love with her man. So, and they're married. So I think she made and she's a smart businesswoman. So I don't think she would have done that if it didn't make sense for her.
So, the reason I bring this up because I was talking with this about a few women. They sent it to me. It was asking me about it because, like, some of them have seen different episodes of the podcast, and all of them, all three of them, it's just three. All three of them said, "Oh, look, I would have had to be Pastor Keion Sneaky Link. I would have had to be Pastor Keion Sneaky Link because I'm not getting up that $50K a month. Like, we can be together."
But listen, you're speaking to people that are coming from a place of where they are right now. When you've been in this lifestyle for a long time, and I hate to say this, but as somebody who has and is around the 1%ers, 50K, it's okay. It's good. It's okay. But I'm just being honest about where that comes from for them. They're like 50K. I mean, that's cool. It's nice. You know what I mean?
And I love hearing these stories. Like, when you like it's because it's a whole different world. It'd be funny. Like, I'm familiar with it too. Like, obviously not as familiar as you, but definitely have my experience, and it's always funny hearing it because I know other people and they say different things. And now, especially now, since we're doing this podcast, I'll be talking to people say things about money, and I think about you. I automatically think about you, and I'll be like, I wish Dre was here to kind of, like, guys, look.
I mean, I was talking to someone the other day and they brought up an idea of a vacation and they're like, yeah, it's going to be like, 20 racks. It's like a dream vacation. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, oh, okay. And I was like, I mean, if it's a dream vacation, I mean, that seems reasonable. It's fine. It's not cheap, but it's like, it's not 100. It's like,
right. And so to what you're saying, like, I 100% get it, because the thing is, a lot of people, like, when you're in a different bracket, like you in that poor bracket, when you think about dream vacation, you think about the destination, just strictly the destination. When you are elevated to the people you're around, which, like I said, I'm aware of, it's not just the destination, it's also getting to the destination. Also, like, the flights there, you're going to fly first class suites on Emirates there and back. And those flights, just the round trip flight, probably going to be 30, 40K, if not more. Just the flight. We ain't got there yet.
To be fair. However, I'm just saying, well, those people are flying private, but anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Or take if you're flying private, especially if you're flying private overseas to the Maldives, like, that's gonna be insane money. It's
insane.
We're talking about 6 figures.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But so what my point is the 50K with Shaunie, I feel like if this was something that she really needed, and listen, I mean, I hear 50K a month, that's insane. That's a lot of money. But when you're around this lifestyle for that long, I think she's probably like, I love this man, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, who knows what Shaunie and Shaquille's marriage or relationship is like? Let's say something did happen to Shaunie. I guarantee Shaquille O'Neal would still take care of her. So she's all right.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because she's the mother of 4 of his children.
Yeah. I didn't realize they had other children outside of each other when they got together.
Yeah, I knew Shaq did. I didn't know Shaunie had a child before she met Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. So she got 5 total. And I want to get to that. But before I get to that, like, this is kind of like the breakdown of the 50K. Yeah, 10K.
Well, I got to move in like 4 minutes, Freddie.
She got 10, and each child they share, so that equal up to 50. But she has 5 kids. And then Keion, he was married before Shaunie, so he's divorced too. He divorced his wife recently too, and he had 1 with her, and then she had 2 before she met him that he's assumed responsibility of. So Keion is a stepdaddy of 7 children.
Oh, with Shaunie's. Okay, I was like, what the heck?
Including Shaunie's. So I guess let me ask you this, because I think you probably know what I'm gonna say. What does it look like, Drea being a stepmama of 7 children? Like, what's your thoughts about that?
If I'm meeting somebody that has 7 children?
No, you already took in 2 stepchildren and then you meet a guy who got 5 children. And so now 2 plus 5 is now 7. And you
honey, I mean, that
Does that make sense? Like, how and what world does that make sense for you?
Where he has a lot of coin and a great penis, and he has great communication. That's when that makes a lot of sense. Where the bag is
Hey guys,
secure and it's fat, and
what's that? Oh my
his
God.
bag,
Oh,
the bag.
I was
Come
like,
on.
Dre is getting real tonight. Man,
No,
Dre
Freddie,
ain't
shut
playing.
up. No, where the
If
bag
it's
is secure and
if it's
fat.
fat and it fill it up.
No, that's not what I said. Thank you for the record. No, but the bag is super secure. The communication is top notch and the peen is beyond. Then okay, we can work on this. Otherwise, I'm like, yo, what is going on? I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to take on. I'm, the dating someone with children is like I've never really done that. That's like a different world. It's a different world. So yeah.
I mean, me,
You're not doing it.
yeah. She got 5 children. Like, yeah, not like
That's a lot.
let me say this. I will, to be fair, Shaunie is 4950. Keion is like, I think 4950. So they are like, halfway to 100. I'm not at that age.
You gotta say it like that. Jesus, Freddie. Use the shade.
But I just can't see myself, even as a 50-year-old man, like I'm getting with a chick that has 5 children.
But they're not babies, Freddie. It's not like this woman has to like sit there and wipe diapers and breastfeed. They're kids, they're grown-ups. They're doing their thing.
You make a very valid point.
You know what I mean? Like Shaunie don't gotta be like right there feeding people. She's like, go get it. You know how to get the food. I'll see you later. I'm going on vacation. Bye. Now, if these kids are like between 2 and like 10, then no.
Okay, but in your case, you a guy, he got 5 children, but they all grown.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he still got to have amazing.
No,
Johnson.
we can work. We can waver on a couple.
We can drop the Johnson stuff down.
Let's not drop that. Let's not. Let's take a hit to the communication. I'm just kidding.
Guys, thank y'all for joining us on that note. Guys. On that note, how do I get out of this? On that note, folks. On that note, I think that.
Oh God,
no. On that note, guys. Where is my music? Play my theme music, guys.
Oh my God, it's here. It's there. It's going.
On that note, guys. Take a hit to the communication and keep the ping going, guys. Thank y'all. Another episode of The Token of the Truth. I've been your main man, Freddie B. Get with our YouTube. Get with Team YouTube, man.
Yes.
Subscribe, hit the notifications.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. I'm Lady Dre Renee. Bye, Felicia.